Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today I'm going to be giving you a rundown of what I'm currently carrying in my EDC bag. We're going to look at the gear in the bag, we'll talk about the bags as well, and also kind of help you think through the thought process for your EDC bag as I share what goes into my mind when I think about what's going to go in my bag and what's not going to go into my bag. Let's jump into it. Here's your clip. You're going to unclip that, and then you can hear the hook and loop as I open this. And you can see into the main section of the bag now. Lots of pockets here. High-vis orange to contrast your gear with the background of the orange. And then you've got a pocket here that actually goes through. And then you've got this front pocket. Let me just show you what's in here real quick. It's not organized into different sections, but this is all of my gear for my iPad, my iPhone, my laptop, all that stuff. So I've got all my cords and stuff in there. And then in this section, I think I only have one or two things. And that is, I got a very lightweight beanie that I keep in there at all times, so I've always got access to, to keep my head warm. And then inside you can see this panel, hook and loop on the back. It is very secure inside there, but obviously you can hold mags in here. You could certainly hold a Leatherman or multi-tool, whatever else you want to put in there. But that's inside. And then I've got my beanie inside there. And I try to keep that section not filled with a ton of stuff because it just makes the bag thicker and thicker. So this just allows me to keep a couple basic things in there without adding a lot of extra width to the bag. All right, going into the main section of the bag, let me take out my books first. So I've got my Bible, got a couple books here. So that's 1, 2, another book here, 3. I've got my Wild Hedgehog Tactical Med Kit. And this has a bunch of basic EDC type medical items like Band-Aids and a little bit of medical tape and stuff. And then also some trauma items. So basically to deal with massive bleeding. So I've got a SWAT tourniquet and some other things in there. Let me open this up just to show you. So that's what that looks like. Tweezers, some basic stuff, Neosporin, Band-Aids. And then I've got gloves. Always keep some acetaminophen, Tylenol basically, and ibuprofen there. And then the SWAT tourniquet. And then there's Celox, I think, or Celox it's called, over there as well. So the likelihood of you coming across a situation where you are dealing with a serious medical situation, it's most likely to be bleeding, and so that's why I keep this kit in the bag. So you can see down in plenty of storage space there. I try not to overfill it just because then it's hard to carry the gear. The bag just becomes so overwhelmingly thick. So along this back panel, there's lots of different storage options. You can see I've got my RoboCop personal alarm here. And this is not something that I'm using on a regular basis, but if you pull this, it'll make a lot of noise. And so, this is just something as an extra backup, an extra precautionary item that I keep in there. So warning here, I'm going to give this a pull so you can actually hear what it sounds like. Not the most pleasant noise, but that's the point. Starting down on this end, you can see I've got some pepper spray, some mace, and then down in this, there's a side pocket here and a side pocket there. Down in this side pocket, got just a bunch of cordage options, and then I've got a Bic lighter down in there as well. All right, moving on. I've got this pen light. This is from Thorfire. I was carrying a Nightcore before, but just wanted to swap out and try this instead. So there's that. I've got some 511 hand sanitizer. I got this at SHOT Show, actually. So a simple way to carry hand sanitizer. Tough Rider pen. So this is a tactical pen, but certainly quite usable as well. I've got a Tide to Go stick, which I always have this with me just for general use and clean up when I get something, some sort of stain on my shirt or whatever. And it's got some duct tape on it as well. So that's a multifunctional. Sharpie, and then 2 other pens. I've got some wet ones, just wipes, for gotta clean something up. And I got kids with me often. So this is a high-vis bright orange bandana, various uses for that. And then a Light My Fire knife, fork, spoon. Utility tool, I already showed you the RoboCop personal alarm, and then down here is a backup EDC knife. This is the SOG Flash 2. There's that. And last up, I think this is the final item here. Yeah, this is my Mora 2000 with a sharpener attached to it. And this is just a knife I like to keep in this bag in case, I'm just out and about and I'm like, hey, I got a chance to get into the woods and work on some skills. So now I've got a fixed blade with me, but nothing huge, and I think that's it. Oh yeah, there's one other item down in here. This is the C2 charger from ThruNite. There's an 18650 battery inside here, and you can charge it up using the little cord included here, and then put your USB in there, charge your phone, whatever other items you need to charge up. So I have an internal pocket here where I keep a bag of double and AAA batteries for myself to give away to other people to help them out. And then I've got a Leatherman, this is the Juice S2. And so I'm always, I've always got a little Leatherman on me. This is lightweight, but it's big enough to do some of the heavier work that I find like a really small keychain size won't do as well. And then over here on the internal back pockets, I've got field notes and a poncho. So I'm always ready even if there's rain out there. And then got some church literature right here in case I bump into somebody who wants to talk about Jesus. Always ready to do that. So that's pretty much everything in this section. And then the one thing I keep in this back section is my MacBook or Mac Air I guess it's called officially. And that's it. So that's everything I'm keeping in my EDC bag. Let's talk about the bag. This is the Pantac PDG Slingshot Sling Bag. This is the first generation. It's got the Kryptek Mandrake here and then black. And then you've got red here. There is a second generation. We'll look at that in a minute. And that is kind of a more subtle toned gray, some light gray, some dark gray as well. So this is a combination effort between PDG and Pantac. And I've had this bag and I wasn't using it for a while because I didn't have a 13-inch laptop, but now I have a MacBook Air for work, so I can actually fit it in here. And this has been my go-to bag since I got that laptop. Let's talk about this front section first. You've got this Kryptek Mandrake right here, the red. Then you have this hook and loop panel right here. You can see a zipper here and a zipper here as well. And then we've got a grab handle on top that's got some neoprene. I will mention that this has started to fray a little bit and come apart. So hopefully, you can just stitch that back together yourself, or PDG and Pantac, if you're watching this, just put a little bit more stitching in there. That would be great. Now you can see a zipper here and a zipper here, and these two poles are not connected to this section of the bag. What this section of the bag for is for concealed carry. So you can't see it right now, but under here is this, I call them boondoggles. I'm not sure what you call them, but basically, it's paracord or some sort of cordage, and it's connected to this panel and those two zippers. So you grab this and pull, and you pull aggressively and hard when you actually have the bag on, and it opens up to this section. Now what I've got in there is just a little personal defense tool, but this is supposed to be for carrying your firearm. So you've got elastic here to keep your firearm in there, and then if you want to remove that, you can pull this off, and then you can reset a different system, whatever hook and loop you want to attach to this rear panel of hook and loop. So let me take this off. A little bit noisy here, but now you can see what that looks like. So if you have a different pistol holster, you can attach that right there. On the right and the left side of the bag, you do have more Kryptek Mandrake, and then you've got this MOLLE webbing so you can attach pouches or whatever else you want. Sometimes I'll run a flashlight down there or a pen. And like I said, same thing on the other side. So both your right and your left hand side of the bag, you can attach more gear if you want to do that. Looking from the top down, you have these two sets of zippers. You have the single pull, which is going to give you access into where you're going to put your plate, and certainly you could store other things in there. And then this double zipper, which has this weatherproof and basically dirt-proof section so that you're not getting the zippers all filled with grime. That'll give you access to the main part of the bag. So you can access the internal contents without unclipping this front clip and pulling up. It makes a lot of noise. The clip makes noise. The hook and loop panel in there on the inside makes noise. So if you need to get in here quietly or quickly without unlashing the whole bag, you can certainly do that. All right, guys, so what I want to do here is actually show you what the bag looks like in use. And so I'm going to roll in footage. The idea is that you have it slung across your back. You've got it across your chest at a 45-degree angle. And then you're going to grab it, and you can do this with the right hand or the left hand. You're going to swing it around to the front, and then you can pull open that zippered section and draw your weapon. You can do this with your right hand, with your left hand. Again, you have a plate that's you're able to put in that back pocket. And so because you're able to do that, you've got now something, covering your chest as you're also drawing out your weapon. The bag is small enough that you're not going to be able to carry a ton of, gear in it. But if you're using it as a messenger bag and you're also, desiring to have a CCW pocket on your bag, then this thing is set up to actually function that way. So what I want to do now is, now that you've seen that, we've talked about the gear in the bag, I want to show you the new version, 2.0, that's the gray version, and then talk a little bit about, selecting an EDC bag and also thinking through what you're going to actually put in your EDC bag. All right, so here is the bag that we've been talking about this entire time in the original color. So that Kryptek Mandrake, and then the black with the red, and then, your red, basically your pull cord. So let's move this one out of the way, get that on the floor, and slide in version 2.0, which is gray. Let me back the camera up a little bit more here so you can see it even more clearly. Okay, so this is the 2.0 version. Obviously, you can see a bunch of different gray tones. So you've got the darker gray, a lighter gray, and then it's almost got a little bit of a green tinge here. Exact same bag other than that. They haven't changed anything about it. They wanted to go with something a little bit more subtle. This is now not black and red, it's black and that gray. And just like the other one, you can kind of tuck this out of the way so it's not hanging the entire time. So, if you're like, I like the original bag, but I didn't want the Kryptek that's too kind of tactical looking or military looking, whatever, now you have an option to get this one instead. As we wrap up here, I've got the bag right in front of me. I just want to talk briefly about this idea of what you actually put in your everyday carry. And maybe this will be a separate video at some point, but, for me, everyday carry is, the words fit it perfectly. Everyday carry. So it's things I'm going to carry with me every day. And also the everyday part is really important to me because what am I most likely to need on a day-to-day basis? I've shared this before, but my good buddy Nathan, he was the first guy to kind of bring up the idea of an everyday carry bag to me years ago. And as I was thinking about it, I was reflecting that he said, he carries contact lens solution in his bag. He's like, that's an everyday carry need for him because his wife often needs it. And he's out with his wife and she's like, oh man, my contacts are bothering me. And now he's got it. Now you could say, well, why doesn't she carry it? Whatever. The point is he's carrying items that are most likely to be used or needed. I remember one of the first times he had that bag, we were out kind of doing I wouldn't call it a survival outing, but sort of camping. We were kind of retrofitting a cabin that didn't have any heat and we were trying to drop the ceiling. So we got some tarps and he had some wire with him. And so we used the wire to drop the tarps. He had paracord. So those are the type of things that, I'm going to be using on a regular basis. Not, I need 15 survival knives and 25 ways to start a fire. I guess if you're building a get home bag, a bug out bag, an emergency bag, a wilderness bag, those are maybe things you're going to be thinking about, an extra knife, something like that. For me, again, this is built around the everyday carry concept. And I've shifted the items I carry in my everyday carry bag over the years based on life experience. That's one of the best teachers. You look at your bag after 6 months, you're like, I've been carrying that. And that's not a first aid kit where you're like, well, I always want to have one on me. It's like, I've got 3 pocket knives in there and I really don't need 3. So I'm going to start changing around the items that I'm carrying. Instead of carrying 3, I'll carry 1 extra and maybe a lighter one so that it's not give me a lot of extra weight. So what I want to hear in the comments below from you is what are items you've carried in an EDC bag and then eventually swapped out because you found you were not using them? On the other hand, what's the item that you use the most often in your EDC bag? So what are the items you've taken out because you don't use them? And then what's the one that you use the most often? So I'll be interested to hear from you guys. And as you're leaving a comment, check other people's comments because that may spark some thinking as you build, change, and adapt your EDC systems and your EDC bags. So we've been looking at the Pantac PDG slingshot bag and also talking about what I'm carrying in my everyday carry bag. So as always, I want to say thanks to you guys for watching the videos. Just really appreciate it, all the engagement, the subscribers, the messages, all that stuff. Just it's awesome to be kind of leading the charge for the ETV community. So thanks for that. And as always, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids. Click that little red subscribe button and also click that little bell so you'll get notifications when new videos pop up. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram and Tumblr as well. And lots more ideas, lots more videos, teaching, instruction, gear review, all that stuff. So stay tuned. Lots of cool stuff coming in the future. All right, guys, take care.